Hi, I'm Dee Wallace from E.T. and Cujo, and you're watching the 13th Wolfman.
Hey everybody, it's the 13th Wolfman. You know who I have back? I have Dee Wallace. This is awesome. Welcome back to Sit Down, Dee.
I'm so glad to be here.
I love having you on.
Thank you.
Hey, you're a busy actress. You worked with Rob with Three from Hell.
Yep.
You got Dolls and
Yep.
a new Critters movie.
Critters Attack. Yeah, it's out in October on the Sci-Fi Channel, and Three from Hell is out in September. It's going to be a busy fall.
Yeah, it is. So what's it like working with Rob?
Oh, I adore working with Rob. I love him as a person, and I just think he's a creative genius. You know, he does the music, he does the art, he writes, he directs. And it's just playtime for actors. I mean, I think any actor that you talk to that's worked with Rob would say, you know, if Rob calls, I'm there.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm a fan of his music, and I like some of his movies. I'm really looking forward to Three from Hell because Devil's Rejects was so awesome.
You will not be disappointed, my friend.
And you're almost unrecognizable in this movie.
Yeah. I looked at that picture and I went, "Oh, I didn't do that, did I?" But I did. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna let them find me.
I'm not telling anyone. I've seen a picture of you out there, and I'm like, okay, cool. You know,
yeah, one of my prettier parts, don't you think?
Totally adorable.
Well, I sure had fun working with Sherry. We got to do all our scenes together. That was a lot of fun.
There's quite a few people you get to. Oh, I mean, Michael Berryman's in this again, right?
And Sid Haig and Bill Moseley, and yeah, it's all the. You know, I love that about Rob. He really is so faithful to the icons of horror and brings us back a lot.
But I mean, what was the last thing you and Michael did together?
Oh, the last thing Michael and Michael wasn't in Death House, I don't think.
Oh, that's right. He was for like 1 second.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
So that would be it. But I mean, obviously, The Hills Have Eyes was our big gig together.
That's still one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yep.
You know,
got a huge cult following out there.
I'm one of them.
Good. Thank you.
I saw it in the drive-in in '77. I've been a fan ever since. You know.
Yeah, I hear about a lot of things that happened in back seats while that movie was on in the drive-in.
That's probably true, but I was not old enough to do those things yet.
That's why you guys took us all your girls to the drive-ins, to scary movies. So we jump in the back seat in fear.
That's right. It works.
I guess, from the stories I've heard.
So, I mean, as busy as you are, do you ever get tired of just doing horror?
Well, I don't do just horror. I've got a beautiful family film called Renovation of the Heart coming out the first of the year.
Okay.
You know, and I did NCIS this year, and you're right. The majority of the work I do right now is horror, and the answer to your question is no. I like the characters that I get to do in the horror genre, and I love the emotional arcs that I get to play. I'm good at comedy. I like to do comedy, but to have a career of comedy, I think would have bored me to death. So I just like being able to bounce around and do everything and explore all the different kinds of my talent. That's what makes me happiest.
And you really, I mean, you really get into the character. You could tell by just about every character that you play that you take a piece of that person with you when the set wraps.
Well, that's our job, isn't it? To really commit and channel that character and be in the moment of that character. Because if we're doing that, the audience gets to go on the ride with us.
And of course, you have your lovely daughter, who's also an actress and now an author.
Yes, her book is exploding on Amazon. Eat, Pray, #FML. And anybody that's ever been challenged in any way in relationships, you better pick up this book. You won't believe what's happened to this kid. You will not believe it, and how she found herself and came back and learned to love herself. But it's funny, it's sad, I'm just really, really, really proud of her. So go buy this book, please, and support us.
There you go. You heard it from Dee herself. Go buy this book. It's Gabrielle Stone. Come on, people. You've seen her in her movies. She's wonderful and adorable. Now you got to read the stories.
Well, it's a pretty darn good story. Like they say, if you wrote a script like this, nobody would believe it.
Those are usually the good ones.
What?
Those are usually the good ones. The ones where you're like, no, this couldn't have happened to anybody.
Yeah, well, it all did.
I believe it. Yeah, we had her on, I think it was like about a year ago, and she was promoting a bunch of stuff coming out. And it's like, wow.
She is a chip off the old block, man. And
yeah.
Her second film that she directed is making the festival circuit, and she's found a best-selling book that she wants to do as her first feature. So, and we had JT Molnar write an amazing script for the two of us called Blackbird. So we just got our little fingers into all kinds of things.
I love it. I love to hear that stuff. I mean, you sometimes hear about actors that are like, okay, all I do is act, and then that's all they do, and you don't see them for a while, and then, you're like, where's so-and-so? And it's nice to hear that other people are just like, they're putting their hands everywhere, leaving the mark behind.
Yeah, I just have to be creating, whether it's my healing work or my acting or writing, or teaching. I just have to be creating something. Otherwise, I go nutty. It's very much like me.
It happens.
We hope.
So Dolls, which is one of your new movies, this is a very different kind of movie. It's strange in a way. It reminds me of a lot of movies from like the Charles Band type stuff.
Yeah.
But enjoyable. I really enjoyed this movie. I love the two leads.
Yeah, they're wonderful, aren't they? And working with them was great. They, of course, have the majority of the acting in the movie, but I love my little character. I think she's weird and out there, and obviously the pivotal point of the story. And how'd you like my wig?
Was that a wig?
Yeah.
I can never tell sometimes. I mean, there are times where wigs in movies look so bad that you could tell they're wigs. But
I couldn't see playing that weird old lady with this hair.
Oh, come on.
Well, to me, she needed to be a little bit
eccentric,
more eccentric and plain and weird.
There's nothing wrong with weird. I mean, I so let my freak flag fly all the time. you know.
Freak flag. I love that. I'm going to steal that.
Steal away. I stole it from someone years ago.
Well, all the best stuff we steal, right?
Yeah. You got to be a little bit on the odd side to be as much of a horror lover that we are, because the other people in the world just don't get it, you know.
I know we have our own private little cool club going.
Yeah, we
it's
do.
a very big club too, I might say.
Yeah, it is. And you are one of our queens.
Well,
you know.
Thank you. I wear that crown proudly. Sometimes in an interview, people say, "Well, does that offend you that people call you a scream queen?" And I say exactly what you said. No, it's a crown that the horror fans have given me, and I've earned it, and I wear it proudly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I 100% agree with that. I mean, you know, we're not just handing these. I mean, as fans, we're not just going, "Hey, everyone's a scream queen." It's not that. You earned it. You did Cujo and The Hills Have Eyes, and I mean all this other stuff. I mean, you had a small part in Stepford Wives, but still.
That's right. That was my first. Yeah, you know what I did? I went, That was the extent of my speaking role in the final cut.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, I understand that you have to have a speaking role to get a SAG card. So even if you're just saying, you know, it makes you eligible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember watching that movie all the time with my mom. She loved that movie. So.
Well, I learned a lot watching those three absolutely opposite women work on the set.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was very interesting. They were so different. So different. And I went, wow, this is what a movie set's like. God, can I do this? But I guess I decided I could, because here I am.
Have you ever been on a movie set where you've had a difficult time working with a director or an actor? You don't have to say who or what movie or anything. I'm just curious.
Oh, well, then I'll immediately say yes if I don't have to say.
Yeah.
Of course. 45 years and 200 films now, they ain't all going to be roses and creative and a happy time. So, yeah, most of my times have been with great people doing really great work. But absolutely, there's been a few snockers in there.
That's fine. That's fair. I would never ask anybody to out anyone. That's not the kind of thing
I'm trying to get to 300 films now, so I'm not going to sit here and bash anybody.
I would never ask you to either. So that's the fairness of that. Yeah, you've had a great career. I mean, and you've done a lot of stuff that's made it out there into the mainstream. I know a lot of people in certain generations are always going to remember you as, from E.T.
Well, I hope so.
And
after all, it's our Wizard of Oz, So, of course, I'm proud to be associated with it. I still hear new stories about how it's changing people's lives. So, I'm very proud and happy to have been a part of that iconic film.
Yeah, for me though, I mean, The Hills Have Eyes and those are the two I'm always going to associate with you.
The Hills Have Eyes and what?
The Howling.
Oh, The Howling. Yeah. Cujo, huh?
I love Cujo. Don't get me wrong. But
you better.
My name is the 13th Wolfman, Wolfie. I love werewolf movies. I remember seeing that.
It's a great one.
It really is.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that at the drive-in.
You were just a drive-in boy, weren't you?
My mom loved going to drive-ins. She did.
I loved your mom then. I loved it too.
Yeah, and the scene where he says, "I want to give you a piece of my mind," has always been burned into my head.
Yeah.
No
pun intended.
No pun intended. That was all the bladders going off.
Yeah.
And you made like, it was so funny because you were so coiffed at the end of the movie. It's like the cutest werewolf woman ever.
Well, that little Bambi werewolf is an animatronic. I'm not underneath the makeup. But I had it in my contract that my character would never appear as a werewolf. I don't know why. Back then, I guess it was important if you start in a film. So I was doing Cujo, and Dan called me and said, look, we keep getting all the cards back from the audience, and they all want to see Karen turn into the werewolf. I said, okay, Joe, but can you make her a little more vulnerable than the other ones because she's fought so hard? And so they came up with this Bambi werewolf, which I think is just the quintessential Joe Dante signature at the end of that film.
That's, yeah, and I mean, you got to work with Joe Dante, awesome guy. Corman was the producer on the film. Did you ever get to meet with Corman?
Well, he was there to do that one little cameo where
right on the scene.
Yeah, I saw him that night.
Wow, that is so cool. I just, you have such a great, rich history in film. I can sit here and just drool over all of it.
No, well, thank you. I feel very blessed to have had such a great career.
And you just said you've done 200 films. I want to see 200 more.
Well, God bless you, honey. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm a little hamster on a wheel. Working on it.
Who do you think will hit the next 200 first, you or your daughter?
I almost immediately said me, but it would be okay with me if it were her.
She's a busy little person.
Pass the baton sometime, right? I'm not ready to pass it yet, but I'm just really happy for her for all her successes.
So am I. Like I said, the first time I had her on, total sweetheart of a person to talk to. We talked about Chris, and it was a nice personal interview, and I just fell in love with her that day. And it's like I can't expect anything but the best for her, So
thank you, Wolfie. She's a good girl, and she works hard, and she really, well, from her interview, then she doesn't hold anything back.
No.
She really shared her soul in this book. Sometimes, the first time I read it, I went, oh my God, all my fans and everybody, you're really going to see this kind of slutty side of my daughter. And then I read it the second time when I had more objectivity, And she's worked a lot of my healing stuff in her own way. It's a very millennial book, but I have clients that are 60 and 70, and they're writing me going, oh my God, Dee, I could not put this book down. I read it in 2 days. I had a friend stay over last week on her way to someplace else, and I gave her one of the books for the trip, and she started reading it that night and stayed up all night and read it.
Oh, wow.
So I guarantee you're going to love reading this book.
Yeah,
FML.
FML. Yeah. That's awesome. I do know that we need to get set up for the live show. So we'll end this here. Again, Dee, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me, Wolfie. Always great to be with you.
Yeah, same here. I love talking to you. If you want anyone to follow you on the internet, where can they find you?
I am DeeWallace.com.
There you go. It's that simple.
My radio show, you can get to my email, website, everything at IamDeeWallace.com.
And she has Critters Attack coming out, 3 from Hell coming out. Check out Dolls. And what was the movie you got in January?
Renovation of the Heart.
Renovation of the Heart. So she's always busy. Check her stuff out. Dee, again, thank you for coming on. As always, for Dee Wallace, I am the 13th Wolfman, and I'm on the prowl.